Another day, another crisis. Yet President Tinubu's government has no clear plan to rescue Nigeria's sinking economy. While millions suffer under skyrocketing inflation, unemployment, and poverty, where is the economic policy to fix this mess? Is there any hope left for Nigerians? Stick around, because today we're breaking down why Tinubu's leadership is failing Nigerians and what it means for the future of Africa's largest economy.
With half bag of rice, 25 kg of rice, selling for 32,000. With the naira on a consistent free fall. When the government took over, it was just hovering between 750 and 880, and the dollars exchanging at $1,350 as you and I speak, with the inflationary trend above 2 digits, closing up to about 30%, with hunger, disease, despondency, and deprivation everywhere, with the government accusing co-participants in government, with key operators of government blaming the past government, a la the National Security Advisor's outburst regarding their meeting an empty treasury, obviously forgetting that the immediate past government was an APC government, with pain, pangs, and trouble everywhere, with insecurity, very unfortunately democratized across the country. You know, it used to be basically northeast and a part of the northwest and some part of the southeast. Now the Federal Capital Territory is under the control of non-state actors, with the government having obviously abdicated its responsibility to guessworks and conjectures. I think that the APC government knows that it hasn't gotten its acts together. I also know that the Nigerian people are concerned. And then indeed the media have not spared this government its whip, pardon my choice of words, because when you say you're bringing renewed hope and the people see no glimmer of hope, and the people are troubled, and the people are concerned, and safety of lives and properties, which is the primary reason for which government exists, is distant, then you have a problem. I think by and large, it's very clear that the government of Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu hasn't taken off. I think that there's a whole lot to be done. And then, like you asked, the economic policy of government. Do they have an economic policy? That's another question for perhaps conjectures. But if you want to interrogate the posturing of government, you'd use the word is a jerk, push and jerk economic policy. Today they tell you the government through the Minister for the Economy and the CBN coming out with a new policy, and then the next day, like the French people would say, the more things change, the more apparently they remain the same. The naira is on a consistent free fall. Even against the French francs, the CFA, against the cedi, naira has become one of the weakest currency in Africa. That's how tragic it has become. And so I think that the challenge goes to this government, the challenge goes to Mr. President, the challenge goes to those who are standing on a largely questionable mandate. The challenge goes to everyone who believes that this country can work. We must all aggregate at that point where, at that parlor, where the parlor's deceit and perfidy that superintends public debate is punctured. And what do I mean? Supporters of Mr. President and those who do not support Mr. President must understand that whether we like it or not, in the very end, the questions are profound. Is government functioning? In the very end, the questions are profound. How well are we doing? In the very end, the questions are profound. Where are we headed? In the very end, the questions are profound. That hunger and poverty does not know political parties. The truth, Njenje, is that hunger is indiscriminate of partisanship. The truth is that poverty and despondency is indiscriminate of religion. Remember a few days ago, the leaders of the Council of Islamic Affairs lampooned and berated the Muslim ticket. That's how serious it is. When hunger bites, it forgets whether you're APC, PDP, Labour Party, or the likes. When poverty stares you in the face, it forgets whether you're Christian or Muslim. When there is insecurity, it forgets whether you're from the south or from the north, whether you're Christian or Muslim. The truth is that we're at that point where in our historicity, even those who are standing on the mandate and those who oppose the mandate aggregate at no other debate but the fact that Nigeria must work and the fact that this administration isn't doing enough to make Nigeria work.
I mean, that is on the economy. If we come to the anti-corruption, for instance, many argue that this government has shown some element of seriousness as opposed to the government that they inherited. Look at, for instance, we had the case of Betta Edu, who was fingered in some corrupt, allegations, and she was immediately, obviously, asked to take a leave, not sacked, but suspended pending the investigation. Now you have the case of Bajamela, which is in total contrast to that, because there is a case of 30 billion naira that regarding the palliative that he's been accused of, and that because it's directly under the president, nothing has happened. So do you think that the government today is engaging on a selective corruption fight, or are they fighting corruption at all?
No, when you talk about corruption, largely you're talking about a variegated case. Is this government corrupt? Is this government corruptive? Is this government corruptible? That's another debate. Is the case of Betta Edu and perhaps the woman in charge of the
humanitarian affairs,
humanitarian social security funds, and is her case selective? Is it one case of suspending, enacting weak hands, so to say, weak links, so to say, to excuse themselves? What is actually happening? And I say this without fear of querulous critics, that yes, the former government may not have taken very proactive steps against corruption, ditto not suspending those accused of being corrupt. The present administration may have taken steps a la the suspension of Betta Edu, and then the lady who was directly in charge of the Social Security Fund or something. But let me say without equivocation that the fight against corruption must be such that is not only discreet, it has to be professional. Not only professional, it has to be in tandem with the law. Since 1999, and precisely 2001, when the EFCC came into our body politic, what we have seen basically is media trial. I'll give you a practical instance. And I hope Mr. President is not giving imprimatur to that order where trial or fight against corruption is basically a media feast, is basically trial on media. I'll give you a practical instance. At some point, the penultimate head of, former head of the EFCC, Magu, told us that the EFCC had recovered about 2.8 trillion naira. And then when the young man who came after him came into office, he said that not more than 50 billion naira had been paid to federation account. So you ask yourself, what about the difference of about 2.75 billion? What happened? You know, media trials. You hear them talk about certain hundreds of millions of dollars recovered, and their successors will come and tell you no such money. You know, so they have come to find out. And that's the tragedy of this whole mess. They have come to find out that Nigerians are largely celebrative of news about one fund being recovered or one man going down because he hasn't superintended his office effectively. But I tell you that if the present government wants to fight corruption, they must fight it professionally. They must use the media effectively, not sensationally. They must also use the technology, basically. And I tell you what I mean. You can have the regime of the BVN and still have the kind of inflows, seemingly untraceable inflows in accounts. And you ask yourself, so what happened to the BVN regime? And then you ask yourself, what happened to the single treasury account? And then you ask yourself, why are we largely denuding and deceiving ourselves? Because that's exactly what we have. So I pray and hope that this government will understand, and I'm going to take a phraseology from the immediate past government, that if we do not kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria. And largely, the immediate past government has gone into history as one of the most corrupt in our nation's historicity. Unfortunately, rather than stand up, understanding the urgency of now, this present government is allowing trial in the media to underscore its effort against corruption. We have a special investigator, Jim Obaze, and he has been appointed by government to do certain things, which includes investigating the CBN and allied agencies and reporting directly to the president about findings or recoveries. Very unfortunately, what we see is a dance in the media. Very unfortunately, what we see is this administration going the way of the others, doing more of media trial, doing more of dance macabre than reality. And I think that the time has come for Mr. President to say, this is not my instruction, this is not what I asked for. The time has come for Mr. President to ensure that the fight against corruption is frontal, far-reaching, deep, professional, and progressive. That's actually what this government needs, rather than the trial and the media.
So here's the hard truth. Without a concrete economic plan, Nigeria is headed for disaster. Tinubu's vague promises won't put food on tables, create jobs, or stabilize the naira. The question is, how long will Nigerians wait before demanding real change? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.